And I started the Dear Dr. Daryl Instagram channel, and I just couldn't keep up with it because it was hard putting things into text. I wanted it to look aesthetically pleasing because if you've met me, you know that's a thing. And it was just too much. So Substack, I wanted to bring it over here and try this forum out because I still want to answer the questions. I think it's valuable. I think there are some questions that maybe we all have. And that's what I'm going to use this little corner of the internet for with you all. And I appreciate you being here in this corner of the internet with me. So, this is specifically for you guys. And if you have questions, you can DM me on at drdarrelappleton.com or at Dr. Daryl Appleton on Instagram or here on Substack. But really, I want to answer these questions about work and life and self awareness. And am I crazy? Is this a thing? So I want to make sure you know that I'm available for that. This is also going to be completely confidential. I'm not going to disclose your name or any information. It's really to get the gist of things and maybe help answer the question for other people out there who might be dealing with the same thing. The one that I wanna start with, and I'll read 2 today, but the one I wanna start with is this because I think it's fascinating, and it actually stopped to make me think. So this person writes in, "Dear Dr. Daryl, I'm the only woman in the room, and I've stopped feeling proud of that sentence," which full stop, pause, is fascinating in itself, right? She continues, "I do not know whether to leave the room, change the room, or accept that the room is what it is. What do I do?" And I'm assuming she's meaning this in a work context, and I think a lot of times being the only woman in the room was something to, be proud of or talk about, but we continue to be proud of and talk about it, and nothing changed, nothing happened. So for me, I think it comes down to alignment of what do you want? Do you want to put the work into that room? Do you want to do that? And you've named the 3 options beautifully because that's what I would say as your coach. I'd be like, "You have 3 options. You can put up or shut up. The room is what it is, and you take your paycheck and you go. You invest time in changing the room and working with that room because there's something of value and it's worth potentially the ROI of investing that time and energy into changing it, or you leave. You take your energy, you take yourself, and you pick up and you go. So, those are usually the 3 options that we have in life when it comes down to difficult decision making. It is you stay and stop complaining, find a way to be happy, you try to work on it, or you leave. Now, that is very simple. It's a simple way of saying things. It is not easy to do that. I try to make things as simple as possible, but simple and easy are 2 totally different things. Diet and exercise, right? Simple, simple advice from your PCP, not always easy to do. That's this. Sorry, I apologize. It is what it is. But I do think that maybe the question isn't what do I do? It's what do you need to understand about the room in order to make that decision? So really I would be asking you and you should be asking yourself like put it down. What is there worth saving in this room? And make a pro and con list on steroids. I do this all the time personally. I tell my clients to do it all the time. Like, what's in the column? And put everything down because then we're going to add like a quantitative element to it. So get all your qualitative down, all of your thoughts, all your feelings. What are the pros? What are the cons? And then you're going to go back and put a numerical value to each of them. So, how much does it matter to you that you hate the one guy who works there because he likes to talk about his wife and all female stuff with you because he thinks he's bonding, but he's actually not because it actually feels kind of derogatory in a weird way, right? Like, how much does that actually matter to you when thinking about this room and what needs to be done? Is it a 0? Like, "No, no, I just wanted to put it on there because it's annoying, but, like, really I could get over it." Or is it a 5 of, like, "This is a reason I would leave this room." To me, it's important to understand and for you to understand and have self-awareness around not every complaint is the complaint, and the quicker you can get down to, like, these are the things that grind my gears, the better off you're going to be in figuring out what it is that you need from that room and if it can give it to you. because I don't want you to go on feeling about the room. That's not what it's about. It's not about how I feel. It's about what are the facts supporting whatever door I choose to walk through. Again, staying, changing, or leaving. And that to me, I think is the most important. I'll do the second one as well, but we'll wrap it up. These are supposed to be like quick and easy. Um, I built a career I said I wanted, which again, pause. Me too. And I cannot tell if I'm exhausted or have outgrown it. Right. Sometimes that absolutely happens. Every framework I read tells me to heavy quotes, rest. Resting feels more like performing. What am I missing? I just did a keynote about this, and there are actually a bunch of research. Again, here's my nerdy side. If you listen to my podcast, Feelings and Other F Words, this is what I do all the time. My nerdy side is there's a ton of research that looks at rest. And the synthesis that I have found in all of these articles is you're not resting right. Sorry to say, it's just like another thing I'm doing wrong. I don't mean to attack you, but sometimes we don't rest correctly. We rest how we are trained to rest, if that makes sense. It's kind of like going in the gym and just doing the exercises that come to mind instead of working with somebody and like getting into the exercises of what your body actually needs to build the body type that you want or whatever it is. You're not resting where you need it or even when you need it. It's really a dual action. The example I give all the time, and you've probably heard me say it, it's kind of like going to your doctor with allergies and being like, "Hey doc, do you have anything for me? Like I'm dying here. I have some allergies." And they give you a Vicodin. Like something is going to happen with the Vicodin if you take it, but you're probably still going to have allergies. You just might not be conscious enough to recognize that they're there. So that's what happens when I see people rest. They are resting in a way that doesn't actually fuel or cure or uh, get to what is actually wrong. It's not fixing what ails them. So there's different dimensions of rest. And I think for you writing in here and talking about like, I've read all the frameworks and resting feels like performance. I will say two things before I jump into what types of rest there are. Number one, if you're in America, we have one of the most interesting stances on performance and rest. And there's tons of research that shows that specifically where you are in the country, and I happen to know this person is from New England, we were settled by Puritans. If you think about Puritans, right? They're the ones burning witches for having fun. You couldn't have dolls, you couldn't do anything. It was work, 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 and then work some more. So we also come from a very interesting background geographically that supports the narrative that you're feeling of resting feels weird. Resting feels performative. If you're a high achieving, high performing woman, that is also something. I like to tell people all the time, like, just because you're doing something doesn't mean you're a success. And just because you're doing nothing does not mean you're a failure. I'm going to say it again one more time because I feel like you need to hear it. Just because you are doing something does not make you a success. Just because you are doing nothing does not make you a failure, friend. So the six dimensions of rest. You have physical rest, which means literally resting your body, but also working out is also a way to physically rest. Even a walk with your dog around the block, like that is also rest in motion. There is emotional rest. You do not need to pick up that phone call from your mom who is in a feud with your sister. You don't need to be in that middle of that triangle. You don't need to deal with your best friend. Doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means like, hey, can I call you back tomorrow when I have more bandwidth, right? Emotional rest, not engaging like every guy that cuts you off on the highway. And again, if you're in New England like me, like that's going to be a lot. You don't need to engage in every person that has quote unquote wronged you on 95. There is spiritual rest, which means leaning into God, the universe, whatever you believe, and realizing that we're just floating around in space on a giant rock. Social rest, leaning into your friend group that actually fulfills you and leaning out of people that do not actually pour into you, but take instead, and knowing the difference between the two. And then there is creative rest, there might be 7 rests. Creative rest, not everything needs to look like a Pinterest board. You can have a birthday party for your kids and get pizza and serve it on paper plates and buy a couple balloons and let that be that. Doesn't need to be this huge thing. My friends who are in the PTO, PTA out there, like, not every fundraiser needs to look like a giant Met Gala, right? Just raise some funds for the school. Unless it brings you joy and you love doing that, right? You can creatively rest. Sensory rest, especially important for women because our inner ear is designed to take in more information and we hear way more than the average bear around here. When I say average bear, I mean Jimmy Appleton downstairs. We take in so much more sensory information, so sensory rest is an incredibly important thing. This translates to if you're in your car or your mode of transportation of choice, like raw dog it. Don't listen to anything. Let the wind be your symphony, right? Like open the windows and just listen to the wind. Don't put on a podcast. Don't, put on a song that you love at full volume unless like you think that will rejuvenate you. Stop trying to optimize every second. Just listen to the wind. Just be a person in a car going somewhere. And then the last one is the most important in my opinion, and that is mental rest. This is decision-making fatigue. When I used to do couples counseling, the what's for dinner conversation was quite literally the biggest fights people would have because it's not about what's for dinner. It's about why do I have to make one more decision for somebody else and have to plan that and take that and have ownership over that when somebody else could do it just as well as I could. So, really and truly, mental rest is can I delegate? Can I delegate stuff to pay people around me to help do it? Your lawn, your laundry, like, and you may not have that opportunity or option. That's fine. Is it worth saving up for the holidays, for your birthday, whatever? If you're still getting gifts from people around you, well done. But, like, asking for services instead of stuff could be a thing. Um, so can you delegate out that way? Do you need to delegate to yourself? You know me, I love a to don't list. These are things not to do today. And having your partner or the people in your life who love and support you understand, like, hey, I need help with this thing. I think that goes into as well, like, I don't know how to rest because I don't also know how to ask for help. And those I find usually go hand in hand, especially with high performers. So I'm glad that we got to get into our first office hours, if you will, and the dear Dr. Daryl of it all. So I think this is gonna live here and it's gonna be for you guys, and I'm so excited, and send me your questions, send me your people, send me your problems, and make it anonymous. Please don't put anything life-threatening in there. I'm going to have to find you and report it out, but truly, madly, deeply, I am incredibly grateful for your support and the fact that we are doing this together. See you at the next one.